ZEC is we would want to include everybody, but it's a question of the best. Unless if all of you will agree that for all ZEC adverts we do not levy a charge or a fee, then we would give our business to all of you. So it's a challenge that I'm putting back to you. Is it possible that you levy no charges at all for our adverts? Or you charge very little, very, very little for our adverts so that we spread the business? It really is a question of the purse. We cannot afford, because I think all of you charge us an arm and a leg even for a nomination court advertisement, which is a requirement of the law. Business Connect, free of charge in your publications?
It can be free of charge, but we have to agree on a rate that can also, it will be a win-win situation between ZEC and Business Connect.
Any other house that would allow us to publish free of charge? I can see people going, like this is a non-starter. So it really is a question of economics. We cannot afford it as a ZEC. And the choices that we've been making so far has been guided by what we believe is circulation. Those will be able to reach the greatest number of the public. And if we have erred on that principle. I hope you do understand us. But when our purse gets a little bit bigger, I think we'll be able to advertise with all publications. Because our aim is to reach as many members of the public as possible, but we just cannot afford it at the moment. Are you satisfied? Thank you. The second question that Business Connect asked was, what chances are there that people in the diaspora would vote in 2018? Sorry, it's coming from Financial Gazette. Sorry, Financial Gazette, Fincas. What chances are there that people in the diaspora would vote in 2018? What chances? I'm not quite sure how to answer that. You want a percentage or likelihood? And how much would ZEC require in order for it to be able to include the diaspora in the plebiscite? Again, it's a difficult question for ZEC to answer because there are quite a few things that must happen before people in the diaspora will be able to vote in the diaspora, if I'm making sense. Let me make a distinction. People in the diaspora will be able to vote as long as they come back to Zimbabwe on voting day and can vote from their wards. So that is the first, and I hope that is clear. People in the diaspora, like any other Zimbabwean, once they are registered to vote, they are free to come back and be able to cast their ballots in their polling station, which is designated in their ward. So there is nothing that stops people in the diaspora from voting as long as they come back. But whether we'll be able to make them vote in the diaspora, quite a few things must happen. And one of them is that the Electoral Act must be aligned to the Constitution and provide the mechanism through which the diaspora vote will be administered. It will either entail, like other countries do, that we go and set up polling stations wherever our people are. It will mean having to find out how many of our people are in each country, how many polling stations we need in each country, or it will mean turning our embassies into polling stations. All those can only happen once our laws are clear on that. At the moment, we do not have a law providing for that mechanism. So until there is that legal framework governing the diaspora vote, people in the diaspora will not be able to vote where they currently reside in the diaspora. But if they come back to Zimbabwe, they'll be able to vote. I don't know if that is now clear, Fincas. Thank you. And then the third question that we have on the lists, will the voter registration exercise, I want to believe, include people in the diaspora? Was that your question? And the short answer to that is yes. The voter registration exercise will include every Zimbabwean who is above the age of 18 and can show us that they reside in a particular ward. they are entitled to vote in terms of the laws. And even if you're in the diaspora and you can claim residence here, in a ward here, yes, you can vote. But your registration, like we said, will be based on a polling station here in Zimbabwe, in a particular ward, where you can prove to us that you reside. Any follow-up questions to that? Finkas?
Okay, thank you. Let's say the constitution has been aligned with regards to diaspora vote. Are you willing, as ZEC, to be able to go the extra mile to make sure that those facilities are in place for the diasporans to vote wherever they are?
Once the law says ZEC administer the vote to people in the diaspora in this particular way, it's not a question of willingness on our part. It's just simply a question of executing that mandate. Once we are given a directive by the law to do something, we have to do it. We have no option. And it doesn't matter whether we like it or not, we have to do it. Shall we move on? Sorry, Alpha Media?
Yes, question of clarity. You said voter registration is open to every Zimbabwean. Are you going to be able to register Zimbabweans outside Zimbabwe, or you're only going to be registering them from within Zimbabwe?
Once our voter registration, which is polling station specific, is commenced, we will be able to register any Zimbabwean, even if they are resident outside the country, as long as they give us an address that is within a ward in Zimbabwe. Am I making sense? Say somebody who is in Australia, Perth, Australia, but they say I reside in Mavuku. I've got an address in Mavuku where I can come to vote. We should be able to register them using the Mavuku address, not their Perth, Australia address. Even if they don't come from Australia, they give us they have to come, because we're starting a new voter registration, because we need to capture their biometrics. Remember, we are going biometric voter registration. So you'll have to come and give us your fingerprints. You'll come and give us your digital photograph. You will have to take a photograph of you digitally, and you give us your fingerprints, and you go back to Perth. We will capture you here in Zimbabwe. And your ward will be a polling station in Mavuku, or your polling station will be in a ward in Mavuku. Am I making sense? But it all requires them to physically present them to our registration centers for us to give us their biometrics, and then they can then go away. Any follow-ups on that particular question? I know it's the diaspora vote is a topical issue. Business Connect?
Yes, on that one, how are you going to handle people who are in our embassies outside the country in terms of this biometric registration?
The people in the embassies are all government staff, I believe. Those are the ones that you are referring to. Arrangements will be made for them to come and present their biometrics to us.
Oh, okay, I thought you were going to them then.
No, they will come and present their biometrics to us.
Okay.
Shall we move on to the fourth question? May you please report, I think this is coming from Fingas. It still is Fingas. May you please explain the polling-based voting and how it will aid in ensuring the smooth running of the election? At this stage, I want to ask the House, would you want a short presentation on polling station-specific voter registration and the mapping exercise that we're carrying out? Do we all understand it? Or should I simply just answer the questions? Yes, Alpha.
You skipped the question from Business Connect. I just asked you whether we are going to see the scraping of media accreditation fees for local media companies.
It's coming. I don't know if we're using the same sheet. No.
No, our sheet makes the second question.
Sorry. I'm using the one that has been categorized. Which one would you want me to use? The one that you have, to be fair. Yeah. Okay. Okay, I'll go back. Business Connect, you asked 2 questions. The first one I think has been answered. The second one, ZEC should also scrape off media accreditation fees for local media covering elections. Accreditation fees for those observing elections and covering elections are regulated by statute. And it is that statute that has asked us to ask you to pay. How much do you pay? $10 per person. And so if that is to be scrapped, we need to have that legislation amended. And so you may want to lobby members of parliament to have that one changed. It's by law. It's a requirement of the law. Okay, are we clear on that? It's not a ZEC requirement per se. It's what the lawyer said we should levy, and they've said $10 per each journalist. Alpha Media, you had your hand up.
I just wanted to know if the legislation was specific on how much you're supposed to charge, because we by law we are accredited and we pay $10 for Zimbabwe Media Commission. Then we are accredited to. The Act says that with that accreditation we are allowed to cover everything that happens in Zimbabwe. Then after that, we are then asked to accredit for elections again. After having accredited for, I don't know whether now this accreditation means we are accredited to cover things that happen on the street, but when it's supposed to be elections, we then have to accredit again. I think it doesn't make sense legally though.
Okay, I may agree with you that maybe it looks like double accreditation, but currently that is what the law is like. The 2 pieces of legislation are administered differently. The one way which requires you to accredit yourselves with the Zimbabwe Media Commission is under a different Ministry of Information. This one is under us, ZEC, and we used to be under the Ministry of Justice. And I think maybe the 2 ministers didn't speak to each other clearly. One did his own accreditation fees, the other one did his own accreditation fees. And it's a question of simply asking the 2 ministries maybe to liaise on that and see if one accreditation should cover all. To me, it's a simple issue. But currently, the law requires us to charge you $10. Okay. Fingas, your first question was, is ZEC secured the US $50 million required for voter registration? The answer is not yet. We are still looking. We've answered the second question. Will the voter registration include people in the diaspora? Yes. What chances are there that they will be able to vote in 2018? If they present themselves physically, yes, they will be able to vote. If they have not, if the law has not yet been amended, then they may not be able to vote if they don't present themselves physically within Zimbabwe in 2018. Now that ZEC can only begin biometric voter registration in June next year, will the Commission have enough time to register every Zimbabwean? Short answer again to that is yes, the Commission will have enough time to register every Zimbabwean. We've looked at our timelines, and we believe that we have enough time to register everybody before 2018, the elections. I don't know if there's any follow-up question to that one. AMH?
You have not found the 50 million required for voter registration, but you are confident that you'll be able to register everybody else. How does that work? Because, for instance, if you don't get the funding, but you're still confident you're going to be able to do it.
Yes, confidence is also faith that we believe that the money will be raised.
We're dealing with faith.
We're not dealing with faith alone. We're not dealing with faith alone, but we do believe that the money will definitely be found. This is a national exercise. This is an exercise that is supported by cooperating partners. Efforts have already been made to raise part of the money, and part of the money is already in the kit. And we do believe that the voter registration exercise will be completed, that there will be money for elections. I don't want to believe that. I don't want to say that it's just faith alone. It is faith that is believed in what has happened in the past. We did not have a budget for by-elections, but we have never failed to hold a by-election since 2013. So whether you want to call it blind faith or faith based on past experiences, I don't know. But money has always been found for by-elections.